Today we are testing this, and this is the Driftwood oversized 4x12 guitar cabinet. Something I wanted to do for a long time, and I should have, because this thing has blown my mind. And ears and balls and everything that can be blown. It's a fantastic sounding cab. And yes, we're gonna answer the ultimate question, the elephant in the room. How does it sound compared to a MESA 4x12? And as usual, if we do speaker or guitar cab shootouts on this channel, we do them properly. Time to get started. Here we go. So let's talk about the product. It is an oversized cabinet. It doesn't have the exact same dimension like a MESA cab. I remember talking to Marek from Driftwood about this, and he said that he did a lot of experiments with different dimensions, but it's in the ballpark. It's oversized, slightly different from a MESA cabinet. Rear-mounted speakers, I don't think this makes a big difference. It looks really, really well built, really solid. It's all built with CNC machines, super precise. I didn't expect anything else from Driftwood, but it looks very, very good. It's all Baltic birch, even the backside. I mean, some companies like Marshall and Fryette also use MDF backs because they're less resonant, and this, doesn't have to be something bad. But this cab is all Baltic birch. It looks very MESA-ish on the inside. They also have this wooden beam that connects the speaker baffle with the backside of the cab, to stabilize and to avoid resonances. It seems to be very well sealed. It looks great. It's just a very nice cabinet. Talking about the look, all Driftwood cabs are built by order, which means that you can define how your cab's gonna look like. It's gonna be a custom cab, which is really cool. You can also choose which speakers you want to have, which is a very important decision, as we will hear later in this video. What they recommend at Driftwood is a combination of two Creamback, Celestion Creamback H speakers, the one with a heavy magnet, pretty good sounding speaker, and another very special speaker, which is called the G12 V60. And it has nothing to do with the V60 that you find in the cheaper Engel cabs. It's a different speaker. It's a speaker that Celestion built for, I think, for the 30th anniversary of their German distributor, Tube Amp Doctor. And nobody has told me that officially, but if you read between the lines, I think it is a British-made V30. So, could be nice. All the speakers come in 16 ohm, which is unusual for me. I'm usually an 8 ohm fan because most of the speakers are actually voiced for 8 ohm, and 16 ohm always sounds a little brighter and a little brittle. So unless you have a very dark sounding speaker, 16 ohm is mostly not the right way to go. Anyway, we will check them out. Good looking, well constructed cabinet, and you've got the chance to customize it, to choose the right speakers and to make it look the way you want. That's pretty cool. Now, there's only one way of properly comparing two cabinets. Today we want to compare the MESA cab and the Driftwood cab, and the only way to do it right is to use and take the same speaker, the exact same speaker, not just the same model, but the exact same speaker, and put it into one cabinet, mic it, record it, or create an IR. Then you move it to the other speaker and repeat the same thing. And then you can compare the IRs. Either you record something and play it back, or you just compare the IRs, because then you can just switch between the two cabinets. Why? Because the difference between two of the same speakers is very often bigger. If you don't use the exact same speaker, it's impossible to tell whether the tonal difference comes from the speaker or from the cabinet. The speaker we're going to use today for that is the final prototype of the Eminence Karnivore, my signature speaker that will be released in a few weeks or months. And that will make a lot of you people happy, I know. So we're gonna take my Karnivore, put it into a MESA cab, where it actually already is, mic it, shoot an IR, then put it into the Driftwood cab, repeat that, and compare the two IRs. But we will also listen to the Karnivore inside the Driftwood cab in comparison to the stock speakers, to the Creamback, and the anniversary selection, the British Voice 16 ohm V30 kind of thing. That's gonna be fun. Let's get started. So here we are. I'm playing my beloved Fernandez Ravel with EMG 81s. And the first thing I did, I threw the Karnivore into the Driftwood cab, and it sounded like this. And that sounds so fucking awesome. I was blown away. It sounded so good, like really thick. But also direct and just beautiful. I actually played a lot of guitar today because it sounded so good. Okay, so right now, we are already listening to an IR. Look at just look at this first. How many IRs I've done in the last weeks and months during the voicing of the Karnivore. Anyway, we're playing a Karnivore IR, and this is my signal path. Tube Screamer going into the Omega plugin from Neural DSP. And look at this, I haven't even touched anything, slightly here and there. So this is something you can repeat at home. I've turned off the Kabinet, and we're going straight into the Driftwood Karnivore IR. And this was the first one I shot. I also did like a darker mic position. And a really bright one. But let's go back to the first one. And that combination is just awesome. That speaker inside, I just loved it. Now, let's check out the other speakers in that cab first. Let's go to the Creamback first. And back to the Karnivore. And this is the anniversary speaker from Celestion. And back to the Karnivore. Sorry, no comparison at all to me. And just in case you wonder why this says mid-rangey Karnivore, I actually have two final Karnivore prototypes. And this is actually the first time I show you this one. In the other videos, I've shown you the other one, which has a little more bass and a little more grind. And this one is a little more mid-rangey, but they sound super close. As you might know, every individual speaker sounds different. And I really love the combination of the 8 ohm Karnivore inside the Driftwood cab. And I don't want to shit talk any other speakers, but it really slays the 16 ohm Creamback and the 16 ohm British made V30 or whatever it is, the G12 V60. Maybe I just got some bad speakers or something, but no comparison. Anyway, now it's time to move on and to answer the ultimate question. Now I want to compare this speaker, this Karnivore, inside the Driftwood cab and inside the Mesa cab. So no matter if you like this speaker or not, you will hear only the difference that the cab makes. I tried to mic them similarly, but let's have a listen. So this is Driftwood. And this is the same speaker in the Mesa cab. which also sounds great. But it's quite a bit darker. Back to the Driftwood. But I love this. Mesa. And because this was so dark in comparison, I actually took the speaker back and mounted it back from the Driftwood cab into the Mesa cab and did another IR, which you see here, which is called Bright Mic, where I moved the mic a little more towards the center. And this is closer to the Driftwood. Driftwood. And what's so impressive about this is that usually if you use any other cabinet than a Mesa cab, it sounds more raw or it sounds less mix ready. And here, it's not only super close, but I actually, at least in this combination, I prefer the slightly more aggressive tone of the Driftwood cab. And I've never heard any cabinet sound that close in quality and overall tone to a Mesa cab. Mesa? Driftwood. So I gotta say, dear Marek at Driftwood, I'm impressed. This sounds really cool. This is a fantastic and awesome sounding cab if you use the right speakers. I might be a little biased here, but I would totally recommend Driftwood to offer a Karnivore speaker in the future, as soon as it is released, which is gonna take a few more weeks. But this combo is sick, and I believe a lot better than what they recommend at the moment. Unless I got some bad speakers, but you know, I tried them all and they sound like this. So you can stop hunting vintage or like trying to get used Mesa 4x12s, which has become pretty difficult because for whatever reason, it's impossible to get new Mesa cabs in Germany or in Europe. Hello Mesa, what's wrong with you? And I think you don't get a used Mesa cab under 1,000 euros. So that's a lot. So this is a great alternative. If you like the Karnivore or not, that's a different question. But if you use the right speakers, this cabinet sounds awesome. By the way, if you compare the Karnivore now inside the Driftwood cab to an awesome V30, over here I have an IR from my Bogren pack. This also sounds great, but you know what? I tried to remove that kind of annoying sounding upper mid bite that the V30 has. Make the overall tone thicker. Let's go back to the Karnivore. And instead give it like a higher sizzle and grind. It doesn't sound annoying, and like a lot of thick low end and lower mid range. And if it's too much in the studio, you can always filter it out. Okay, so I'm gonna play some more guitar. You guys, I'll put a link below, of course. Check out the Driftwood cabs. They also make a 2x12. Marek is a great guy, fantastic company. They also make great amps. I'm sure you know them anyway, right? But this cab is great. And just stay tuned on this channel because the Karnivore speaker is coming closer as well. And we're working on not only getting the speaker out as soon as we can, but also convincing some other companies to offer cabinets loaded with a Karnivore. So for all the people who don't want to buy single speakers and, you know, put them into cabs, that you can just buy a cabinet with Karnivores. We're working on that. And additionally, for all you guys who are playing IRs and not playing real speakers anymore, when we release the Karnivore speaker, we will simultaneously also release an IR pack at Eminence Digital that will include all the IRs that I have done along the way with the Karnivore in different cabinets, even maybe some prototypes, because we have like, look at this. We've got like a lot of different prototypes that sound very different. Maybe we will release them as well. That's all for today. That was fun. Yeah, check out Driftwood. Stay tuned for the Karnivore. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.